Hey friends, Joe the Farmer here, and today we got to get the driveway dealt with. I'm going to show you how the box blade works and how we use it here on the farm, and if you stick with me until the end, I'm going to show you one trick and one thing that your tractor has that you may not know that it has, and it is fantastic for doing things like fixing a driveway. Stick with me and we'll show you. Okay, so let me tell you about the box blade. So this is a Titan Implement 72-inch heavy-duty box blade. This thing weighs 530 pounds and it will do nasty work. It's not afraid to get into rocks and gravel and hard compacted earth and everything else. This is a great tool to have. We just did a video on Pallet Forks. Pallet Forks, again, these are not super expensive things that you can buy for your tractor, but when you buy a tractor, you really want to make sure that you're getting as much possible use out of it, because everything that it does, every job and task it can accomplish for you is just another thing that you don't have to pay for or that makes it more valuable to you. So Pallet Forks, $500–600 bucks, great. This box blade, probably $800 to $900 to get a box blade. This one being heavy duty, maybe a little bit more, but this is the 3206, which is 72 inches. And again, before anyone gives me a hard time, I know that's kind of small for this tractor, but when I traded the DK 5010 for the RX 7320, I didn't want to trade all my implements. I was going to lose my tail if I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with this one for as long as it's in one piece and it does the job for us. Here in the farm, we box blade or box scrape the driveway 2 or 3 times a year, maybe more, maybe less, just depending on weather, but that's just one of the pre-spring things we have to do out here, like liming the garden, lubricating the machines, changing the oil, making sure everything's ready for spring and summer. So, but before we get started, if you don't mind, hit that little subscribe button down there if you enjoy what you see, and give us a like. That really supports us here in the farm, and we'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's head over here and let me show you a little bit about this box blade. So there's really not a whole lot to a box blade. There's the box itself, you have your rear blade, you have your interior blade, and you have your scarifiers. So this particular one has 5 scarifiers. If you go bigger, they may have more, but these are really for kind of breaking up the ground. We don't need to do that today. We're really just gonna bring these other 2 up. I set them back there just when I set this on the ground after removing it from the tractor. I keep these down because that keeps the box blade from falling over and makes it easier to pick up. Let's hop in the tractor, get it started, and get to work. So the great thing about this kind of implement is that it's very, very simple. There's not a lot of moving parts to it. There's nothing that's really got to be greased or oiled or replaced, other than maybe the scarifiers or the blade on the front and the back after years of use. But it is just a very simple tool. And one thing I love about it is that it does this job, it does it very quickly, it does it effectively, and as you can see, all that material just builds up in the bucket, and then wherever there's a low-lying area, it's just geometry, right? You're just going straight across the plane. If there's a low area, it just pushes the material and it just disappears from the bucket where it needs to go. So what you don't want to do is start and stop and start and stop, because that's going to kind of give you some humps in the driveway, but other than that, it's pretty simple. So I'm coming up on this big part where I dumped a bunch of material, so I'm going to go ahead and raise the blade a little bit, because this is really where I want to have all that material just kind of skid over there. And if you're seeing a lot of the dirt that's kind of coming from the side here, that's not a big deal. A lot of that dirt, what looks like mud, it's really gravel with dirt packed in it. The rain will wash that away, and I've only bought 1 load of gravel in 4 years. So if you can know where your gravel's going and just pick it up and redistribute it, it'd be great if I had a good crown on this driveway. It was just never built that way. And for me to break that apart and put a crown on it that's proper to let all the water kind of run away, we would have some serious grading to do, and it's just not worth it. It's just easier to pull the material back in there and 2–3 times a year use the cheap implement to fix it. So. But I'll tell you what's fun is this tractor, you don't even know that thing's back there. It's just going. It has, this thing could be full of all kinds of heavy gravel material, and this thing doesn't even know it's back there. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up. I'm starting to lose daylight here, but I know I promised you the one thing that I'm gonna show you that your tractor does that you may not know about. Some of you may, but I'm telling you, probably 80% of tractor owners with a front end loader probably don't know that they have this feature, and it's incredibly helpful for something like this. If you have experience with a box blade, I know a lot of guys have tractors with box blades, they still don't know that their tractor has this feature. Now I'm gonna show it to you, and if you already know what it is, leave a comment down below, and if you use it, or if there's a way that you do this, or you have some tips, please leave it down below. We'd love to know. Okay, so before I run out of daylight, I want to go ahead and show you this feature. So this is something super cool about any kind of tractor. Tractor buckets usually weigh between 600 and 800 pounds. I guess it could weigh more than that if you have like a skid steer or something, but there's a float function on your tractor that you may or may not know about. Now I'll caution you, don't do the float unless you're very close to the ground. And when I say close to the ground, I mean like an inch or two from the ground, and then hit the float. If not, set on the ground and then engage the float, because that bucket, once you hit the float function, that bucket's going to slam to the ground. Please make sure there's no one around you, there's no people around you, you don't have nice implements on the front. But the way that the float works is, as you can see this joystick, you have all the different bucket functions, and then this one up here is where you hit it. I'm going to make sure my bucket's on the ground. And then I want you to listen and see if you can hear that click. So once you hear that engage, that engaging is when the bucket is going to use just its weight. You can just take the bucket, set it on the ground, and use the weight of the bucket to smooth this out. Let me show you real quick. And I promise you, this looks like a mess. It's going to be fine. Once you get the first rain, it won't look like this ever happened. But I've had to move all of this material to this one spot. So I have this huge hump here, and I'm going to smooth this out without using the box blade, which is not nimble. It's a great tool, but it's not very nimble. But I can't use that to kind of smooth this out. I could run over it 50 times, but that's not really the smartest way to do it. So I'm going to pull up here, set the bucket down, and just use the weight of the bucket to pull it. Now, if most of the material was here and the hole was here, I would just do the opposite. It's a really cool little trick that a lot of people don't know about tractors, and I don't know why they don't talk more about it. But you know, skid loaders have it. It's just, you know, make the machine do all the work that you possibly can. All this material on the side, some of this is dirt, but you can kind of see where this is all smoothed out now. This is a problem area. I'll have to fix that, but I'm losing light. Can't do it all in one day. Got to take a little bit more time. But I'll let a lot of this mud wash away too, and you know, the big old hole's gone. This is where we were mudding and splashing, but see how much material is able to get off the driveway? It's plenty, and this will all kind of soak down as it dries out and be a lot less soupy. So anyway, that's the box blade. We learned a little something about the front end loader and how the float function works, and I'm going to finish this up before the sun goes down. But appreciate you watching this video. I'm Joe the Farmer. We out.